today's mobility session has a key emphasis on the shoulders, and we'll also be doing some wrist work and also some leg stretches as well. So if you haven't done so already, take off your shoes and we'll start the session. First thing I'm going to get you to do is to warm up the shoulders, and we're going to start off. You can do this kneeling down or you can do it standing up, completely up to you. But you want your palm neutral so that your palm are facing one another, and we're just going to start with one side. So arms down, and what you're going to do is you're just going to slowly lift your arms up, trying to keep your body as still as you can. And then when you can't go any further with your arms, you can rotate it externally and then rotate it backwards. When your arms reach your leg, just go back the opposite direction. And again, trying to keep your body as still as you can. When you can't go any further, just rotate your palm and then slowly back. If you find you struggle to have your arms so close to you, what you can do is just have it a little bit further away. And you could do this in front of a wall as well. So you can actually go just slightly a bit further away if it feels more comfortable. And then again, when you're maxed out, rotate towards your leg. When you get down here, back. So it's completely up to you how far you go. The further away your hands are from your body, the easier it becomes. So just going to do 5 reps here. Remember, keeping your body stacked above your hips, staying as still as you can. Okay, and then we're going to do the other side, 5 reps. So I'll do it from the side so you can see. So palm facing you, and then you're going to just bring your arms up over your head, trying to keep your full body as still as you can. When you can't go any further, just rotate your arms. Then bring it back again. Try and keep your shoulders as still as you can. Keep pulling your shoulders down, imagining you're drawing a big circle. And then going to rotate, go the opposite direction. And at this point, I'm just going to rotate my hands facing me again. Once it reaches my legs, again up. So doing 5 reps all together. When I can't go any further, I'm just going to rotate my palm facing outwards. That's it. And then up again. And then one more rep. You might find when you're coming up, you can only go so far, but when you're coming back, when you're reversing the movement, you might just be able to go that little bit further before you need to rotate your hands. So in this way, it might be slightly different. I normally just like rotating my hands once my arms get above my head. Okay, so that's the first one, working on the shoulders. Next one is called tabletop, and it's more of a static stretch. So again, we're going to concentrate on mainly the shoulders, but it is kind of like a full body stretch. So you want to sit down, you want your feet just slightly further than hip width apart, have your hands behind you. So what you want is your fingers can point any direction, but ideally you don't want it pointing towards you. So if you feel more comfortable, you can have it out to the side, or you can turn it so your finger face away from you. Whichever feel most comfortable, just try not to get your fingers pointing towards your toes. So once you're in this position, what you're going to do is push through your heels and then just try get yourself up. So it's a nice straight line from your knees to your shoulders. So in this position, just try get your ankles below your knees, hips up, and then with your shoulders, you're just going to externally rotate your shoulders and squeeze your shoulder blades. Head as neutral as you can, squeezing your bum, and hold that stretch. Keep pushing through your hands and just grip the ground with your feet. big toe, little toe, heels gripping onto the floor and pushing your body away from it. Hold that stretch for another 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then come down. So this stretch, it's mainly the shoulders, but you'll also find, especially if you're squeezing your bum, you'll be stretching your glutes as well as your legs. Okay, so next we're going to look at wrists. So with your wrists, we're just going to start off in that kneeling position, so your hips directly stacked over your knees, have your hands directly under your shoulders. Once you're in this position, I'm just going to get you to rock forward, make sure your elbows are locked out, just come forward as far forward as it feels comfortable, and then come back and just keep rocking forward. With each time, just go that little bit further forward to increase the stretch on your wrists. Okay, and the next one, we're just going to start turning your fingers away. And if you can, try get your fingers towards you, so it's pointing towards your legs. If you can't, just get it as close, rotate it as close, but whatever feels most comfortable. So if you can only get your fingers out to the side, that's absolutely fine. But if you can't, you'll get a bigger stretch with your fingers pointed towards you. So in this position, we're just going to start off gently walking forward and back. So with each rock, just try get a bigger stretch. Push your bum a little bit closer towards your heels. And just try to keep your fingertips on the floor so it doesn't move off the ground. And if you need to, you can hold the stretch just for that little bit longer. Okay, and then next we're going to get the back of your hands on the floor like this, and then you can, if you want to, just come a little bit closer and then just very gently push the back of your hands against the floor and trying to straighten your arms, and just hold that stretch. And again, you can add some forward and backward rock if you want to. Or you can even draw little circles. Okay, and then once you've done that, just give your wrist a little bit of a shake out. Okay, next we're back onto a shoulder mobility exercise, and this one is called handcuff. So I'm going to lie face down onto the ground. Once I'm face down onto the ground, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to point my toes. A lot of people ask whether they should be lifting their legs up or not. Just all you need to do is just point your toes if you can, and that'll help you stretch out your ankles a little bit. But if you feel more comfortable with your toes on the ground, that's absolutely fine. It's up to you. So once you're in this position, just try to imagine you're snorkeling, or you're putting your head down into water and you want your face just under the water surface like this. So in that position, we're going to start off in a handcuff position. So just bring your hands together. While you're in this position, just pull your shoulders down, back and down towards your back pocket. Okay, hold on to that position. Point your toes, keep everything nice and tight like a plank of wood. Okay, and then you can slowly let your hands come apart. Keep your shoulders back, and then you're just going to slowly bring your hands forward if you need to. At this point, I would normally start rotating so my palm is facing the ground, so at the crucifix position. Okay, and then bring your arms forward over your head, and again at this point I would rotate my palms, and then just bend your elbows, touch the back of your shoulder blades, and then straighten out your arms. Rotate, palm facing the floor, and then rotate all the way back. Keep pulling at your shoulders, and then bring it back, rotate, and into that handcuff position. So if you want to, you can also rest your foot on the ground as well. So let's go again. So at this point, you should actually feel your whole body nice and tense. You should ideally feel your core as well as your bum, if you're squeezing your bum. And more importantly, you feeling your shoulders. So one more time, we're just going to go up into that crucifix position, turn palm facing the ground. Okay, back over the head, keep pulling your shoulders back. Rotate, and then bring your hands to touch your shoulder blades. Forward. Rotate back into that handcuff position. Okay, let's do it one more time. Into that crucifix position, rotate your palms. Okay, so that's a handcuff one, and I've got one more exercise to show you before we go through all the exercises again. So the final one is more of a leg, and it helps stretch the abductors, which is your inner thighs. So this one is called a Cossack squat. So what you want to do is stand wide, your feet wider than shoulder width apart. Toes wise, I'd get it pointing ideally 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, but it's whatever feels most comfortable for you. Some people find it's more comfortable pointing out even more. Some people find it's more comfortable inwards, so completely up to you. So roughly anywhere between 12 o'clock to about 2 o'clock should be fine. Once you're in this position, just grip the floor with your feet, so big toe, little toe, heels gripping onto the ground, and then you're going to just bend your knees on one side while keeping your knees on the other side straight. Push your bum back. So if there's something cutting my body in half, on this side it would actually look like a squat. This side, your knees is nice and straight. Really sit into it to feel the stretch. And at this point, if you want to, you can lift your toes off the ground to get a bigger stretch, and then feet down, transfer your body to the other side, lift your toes off the ground, and then transfer your body back. And you should feel a really nice stretch. You can, if you want to, come up and then lunge, or you can actually just transfer your weight side to side at the bottom. If you need to, if you struggle with this, you can have some support. You can use TRX, or you can have a little bench here in front of you, something to hold on to and rest your hands on as you do this exercise. So again, as normal, any of those stretches where you feel the strongest stretch or you feel some restriction, pause this video, do a few more reps, or spend a little bit more time holding the stretch. So let's go through all the exercises quite quickly. 5 reps or a 5-second hold. So the first one is the shoulders car exercise. So with this one, you can do it kneeling down, standing up, starting with your palm facing your legs, and then you're just going to reach up as far as you can go. Once you've maxed out on the flexion, turn your palms and then back down, trying to keep your body as still as you can. And again, with this one, you can have your hands further away. If you find it really hard with your hands close to you, just have it a little bit further away. You can have a wall next to you, and you can glide your hands down the wall. So whichever feels most easier for you. So where you turn your palm is completely up to you. Just when you feel you've maxed out of movement, so at this point I can't go any further, so I would turn my palms back to this position here. I would turn again. And then all the time, just try and keep your shoulders down. And then we'll do the other side. So again, arms up. Once you've maxed out of position, rotate your palms, bringing it down. And both sides you might find slightly different. You might find coming up, you need to rotate your palm a little bit sooner than going back on the reverse movement. Just try to keep your body as still as you can. Okay, back to the tabletop. So this one is going to be a 5-second stretch. So feet pointing away from you, your hands either to the side or bring it so that your fingers pointing away. You just don't want your fingers pointing towards you. Once you're in this position, grip your feet to the ground, big toe, little toe, heels, push up and just try to get your ankles in line with your knees. Once you're in line, externally rotate your shoulders and then push yourself up through your hands, through your feet until you get a nice straight line from your knees to your shoulders. And really squeeze your bum here. Hold that for 5 seconds, or if you find this stretch useful for your shoulders, you can even hold it much longer. Just remember to try relax your head as much as possible and keep it neutral. Okay, let's move on to wrists. So starting with your fingers pointing away from you, you're just going to walk forward and backwards, keeping your keeping your elbows locked out. Just nice gentle walk forward and then you can actually make the movement a little bit bigger with each rep. Okay, start turning your fingers so it's pointing outside and then come forward. You can even, if you want to, draw little circles or go side to side. Entirely up to you, whichever stretch you find most beneficial for your wrists. So I'm just going to walk forward and backwards. Okay, and the fingers pointing towards you. And again, just try not let your hands lift off the ground too much when you're doing this one. And then with each one, just try to get a slightly bigger stretch. You can, if you want to, you can also do single arms as well. So you could actually just focus on one side if you find you're struggling with your wrists on one side. And then you can also draw circles as well, completely up to you, both hands, or you can bias one side. Okay, and then next one we're going to turn, so the back of your hands is against the floor in here. And then just going to slowly, just straighten your arms and then push your hands into the ground away from you. Hold that stretch, and again if you want to, you can walk forward, backward, you can even go side to side, you can even draw little circles, you can even bias one side as well. Entirely up to you, there's so much you can actually do with these stretches. Next one, we're back into the handcuff. So the handcuff position, in fact I'll do it from the front this time. So the handcuff position, lying down, into the ground, head right down, pretend you're putting your head into water and then point your toes. So you're going to start off with your hands behind your back in that handcuff position. While you're in this position, just pull your shoulders down and back towards your back pocket. Release your hands and then bring it into that crucifix position. Turn your palms so your palm is facing the ground and then bring your hands up. You don't want to allow your hands to drop down towards the ground too much. You want to make sure you keep pulling your shoulders back. Once you're into that overhead position, turn your palms and then bring it to touch the back of your shoulders. If you find you're struggling to touch the back of your shoulders, just go as far back and your fingers don't actually have to touch your shoulders. It's whatever you find most easier. Okay, and at this position I'm just going to rotate my palm pointing towards the ceiling and then back into the handcuff position. So here we'll do 5 reps. So I'm just going to turn so you can see me from the side. Again, trying to point your toes, trying to get your core into it, because if you can get your core working for every single stretch you do, that's a bonus, isn't it? with this stretch, I actually find this stretch really hard to do while I'm talking. Okay, and then the last one, we're going to go back to the Cossack. This time we're going to do 5 reps on each side. So feet wide and shoulder width apart. Just go as wide as you feel comfortable, and you know you've not gone wide enough if you find your knees is going right over the line of your ankles. And also if you find you're struggling to get your knees in line with your ankles, like this for example, you know you've gone too wide. You want to aim to get that knee in line with the ankles when you're bending your knees. So roughly about 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Sit back into it. Feel that stretch if you want to. Lift your toes up. You can have your hands on the floor to help you, help support your body weight. You can use a TRX. You can have a support in front of you, whichever makes this easy. And if you can, just try sit back as much as you can to really stretch out the adductors. And then just transfer your weight from side to side. If you find a strong stretch, just hold the stretch, or you can do it dynamically as well. So I sometimes, if I find I'm really tight, I might hold it in this position just that little bit longer. And also if you find just tight on one side, you can just bias that one side so you can just do more reps on that one side. Entirely up to you. Those are the 5 exercises for today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.